It was 3 a.m. when Max, the family German Shepherd, did the unthinkable. He yanked baby Emma from her crib and made a dash for the front door. Her panicked parents followed him in bewilderment until they smelled the smoke. What Max had sensed long before any alarm could sound would save their daughter's life and demonstrate the true power of a dog's love. It was exactly 3 a.m. when the unexpected happened. The Petersons' German Shepherd, Max, suddenly awoke, pacing anxiously. Then, without warning, he slipped into baby Emma's room and carefully began to pull her from her crib. Blanket wrapped around her. Seconds later, her parents awoke in a panic, racing after their dog in fear and confusion. But what they found outside would forever change their understandings of love, loyalty, and the incredible instincts of their family's four-legged guardian. Sarah and Mark Peterson were Emma's proud and doting parents at the age of 8 months. Their home was warm with soft lullabies, baby giggles, family dinners, and cozy nights beside the fireplace. Max had been with them for years. With his thick sable coat, observant eyes, and gentle nature, he was not a dog. He was a loyal sentinel. That evening was routine. Sarah put Emma down in her crib, drawing the blanket over her with a gentle hand and humming a lullaby. Max, as always, was nearby, watching her every move with his big eyes. Mark went through his normal nighttime routine, shutting doors, flipping off the porch light, before getting into bed with his wife. The wind rustled softly through the trees outside, and a stillness fell over the house. Yet something was off after 3 a.m. Max's ears lifted. His nose lifted as he sniffed something odd, an unnatural scent in the air. The baby monitor gave a gentle crackle, but his instincts screamed more loudly. The compliant, quiet shepherd was abruptly disturbed. He rose, pacing the hallway, his nails gently tapping the wood floorboards. He whined, low and persistent. Max scratched at Emma's door, a first. In the bedroom, Sarah sat up in bed. She blinked into the soft red glow of the baby monitor. "Mark, did you hear that?" she whispered. "Probably just Max being restless," he grunted, half asleep. But Max's behavior became more desperate. He scratched at the baby gate with growing urgency, sniffing the air and emitting another insistent whimper. His instincts were no longer whispers now. They were demands. Next, with deliberate motion, Max opened Emma's door. The baby monitor caught soft rustling, Max's breathing, his whines. Inside the room, he moved to the crib, circled it twice, then sniffed again with growing alarm. Whatever was stirring in the air, he knew it was toxic. Without hesitation, Max carefully grasped the edge of Emma's blanket in his teeth. Slow, precise, and began to pull. Inch by slow inch, he inched the blanket and baby toward the door, never once letting her tiny body touch the floor. Sarah sat bolt upright in bed. "Mark, Max is in Emma's room," she spoke in a curt tone. Mark jumped up, alarmed. "What?" The two rushed down the hallway, fear gripping their hearts. When they reached Emma's door, they halted in their tracks. Max was in the middle of the room, the crib empty. Emma was bundled up in her blanket, being pulled slowly but steadily across the floor by Max. "Max, stop!" Mark shouted. But Max did not stop. His eyes were staring ahead, determined, focused. He was moving with a purpose. Before either parent could respond, Max had shoved Emma out into the hallway. He halted, faced them, and emitted a rough bark. It was a call, a command. "Follow me." Confused but scared, Mark and Sarah chased after him. "Where is he going?" Sarah cried. "I don't know," Mark said, his voice strained. They followed Max down the hallway, past the living room, toward the front of the house. And then, Mark halted. He sniffed it. Acrid. Smoky. He turned his head. There in the kitchen shadows, an orange glow throbbed weakly against the cabinets. "Sarah," he said, his eyes wide with realization. "The kitchen's on fire." Panic set in. The fire was spreading quickly. Up curtains along the ceiling. They could hear it now. A faint crackling hiss as the flames fed hungrily on the dry wood and cloth. Mark grabbed Emma from the blanket. Sarah wrenched open the front door. Max darted out, glancing back over his shoulder. They burst onto the lawn, gasping in the chilly night air. Mark clutched Emma. She stirred, blinking confusedly. Sarah hugged them both, trembling. Max was halfway across the lawn, chest heaving with exertion. His eyes never left the house. His body was tense, ears back. He was still on watch. Mark turned to see the kitchen fully engulfed in flames now. Smoke billowed from the window. Flames licked upwards, stretching towards the roofline. But none of them had been inside when it had really blown. Thanks to Max. Mark dropped to his knees beside his daughter and checked her over. She was frightened, definitely, but unharmed. Sarah was crying already, her arms wrapped around Max's neck. "You saved her," she breathed, her face against his fur. "You saved us all." People began to emerge from neighboring houses, drawn by smoke and commotion. Some of them had seen Max drag the baby outside and were standing in shocked silence. One woman stepped forward, shaking her head. "I thought I was dreaming," she whispered. "I saw your dog pulling the baby. I didn't know until I smelled the smoke." Sirens were heard in the distance, growing louder. Fire trucks arrived within minutes, their crews jumping into action. They fought the fire as it chewed its way through the kitchen. But thanks to Max, no one had been inside. No lives were lost. As the sun began to rise, the Peterson family stood shivering on the lawn, shell-shocked but alive. Emma, wrapped in her singed blanket, dozed in her father's arms. Sarah knelt beside Max, stroking his fur with trembling hands. "You're our angel, Max," she whispered. The shepherd gave a soft wag of his tail and leaned into her touch. One firefighter approached and knelt beside the dog. "Smart dog," he said, patting Max's head respectfully. Max did not bark, did not move, just looked at the smoke pouring out of the house he had fought to save. His job wasn't finished yet. For Sarah and Mark, the realization was overwhelming. Max had sensed the peril long before any smoke detector could possibly have. He had acted with speed, worry, and affection. Not just a pet, not just a dog, a hero, a guardian, a family member whose instincts had saved everything they loved. As the sky turned to golden lavender, the Petersons stood close together, grateful, humbled, and forever different. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who loves dogs. Don't forget to like, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe for more real-life heroes.